Hi Kara, so good to be out here with you again today. I'm Kirsten Neese, the Director of Marketing for Cornerstone Homes. This is take two of Chickahominy Falls, the farm at Woodside Farms here at Chickahominy Falls. I'm with Kara Sewers. She is the field manager out here at Chickahominy Falls. We had a little glitch with our Wi-Fi, so we're going to refilm and start over and get going. But Kara, just tell us a little bit about yourself here at and how you got into farming, and if you could just go on in with that.
I've been farming for about 5 years. This is, I think, my 5th season farming full time. So I grew up having gardens. Like, my family always had a large garden in our backyard where we would eat fresh daily. So that was, significant and something I was used to, having fresh vegetables. After college, I did an internship with a friend on an organic vegetable and flower farm. They had sheep and goats as well. And that I learned a lot. It was the first time I really saw what production farming looks like and how it compares to more hobby gardening. And it was neat to see a full season through. And I learned a lot too about just the impacts that agriculture and local food have on a community and different social issues. And then I actually did social work for a few years. I lived up in DC and Philly, and still volunteered at different farms and garden at community gardens. And somewhere along that, I decided that farming was something more that I wanted to do as a career instead of a hobby, and I started transitioning into what that would look like. So
you've done an amazing job out here. So we're in the end of May, and we've had almost our whole spring season here at Woodside. And you've been with the farm here for over a year and a half, and we're under another farm manager. And now this year you've absorbed and taken over the field manager role and just have done a phenomenal job. I mean, everything that's growing out here is so incredibly beautiful. Why don't you describe a little bit about this trellis and what's growing beyond it here?
Sure. This is our hop trellis. So the hops were planted last year. They're perennials. They've gotten a great kickstart of growth since they've been in the ground a year already. You can see how they're already climbing up, almost reaching to the top of the trellising. And then we interplanted zinnias and nasturtiums as well. We did that last year. I think a lot of folks might remember the zinnias in full bloom in this walkway. So we're hoping to have a similar effect. And then in the background here, we have a bed of carrots, our summer carrots, and then peas are growing on that trellis as well. We should be harvesting those shortly.
Those have just taken off, I swear. I've been out here a couple weeks in a row, and every week they're just getting like bigger and bigger and bigger. It's unbelievable how fast everything's growing.
Should have created a higher trellis, but it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So as we walk down through here, what can you explain what's growing? It looks like it's drying out almost at the top here.
Yep, we have about 7 beds of garlic. So garlic takes a long time to grow. We planted it actually last Halloween. It grows all winter. It's starting to be the phase where we're really focusing on the bulb growth now. Today we actually did a big weeding, and we put down a fertilizer that helps with the bulb growth. And we'll probably be harvesting garlic, I'm guessing like June or July. You can harvest it fresh, but what we'll do with most of it is you braid it and dry it out. It's called curing, and then the garlic lasts for a long time. So hopefully we'll have a good garlic crop.
So you said a little bit about fertilizer, but here at Woodside, we're a certified natural organic farm, right?
Right now we're certified naturally grown.
Naturally grown, okay.
So they are very similar to the organic standards. Like, we don't use any chemical or synthetic inputs, but CNG is a farmer to farmer accountability instead of involving the government. So there's standards. We have fellow farmers come out and do a walkthrough, and we also do walkthroughs with other farms to help them get their certification.
So we're walking down this black tarp. What are you getting ready, these beds ready to plant here?
These 2 beds that the tarping helps with erosion and weed control. But these 2 beds will be another succession of summer corn.
Great. And
So-
is that what's planted here to the right? Is
Yes.
corn?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't think we had corn out here last year, did we?
We had a small amount. I think we're doing 5 beds this year. I think last year we did maybe 2 beds. So it was a very short season of corn.
Gotcha. And then what's growing underneath the white tarps over there?
Underneath that are our summer squash and cucumbers. We'll be taking the remay off shortly. It prevents cucumber bugs and squash beetles in the beginning of the growing season. You have to take the cloths off once the plant starts to flower so that they can be pollinated. And I think they're just starting to bud up. So shortly those cloths will be removed.
Awesome. And then over here, I remember last year we had all these big, huge, beautiful flowering bushes and herbs and everything. So it looks like, again, we have some of that going on.
Yeah, in the fall so last year there were a lot of annuals in these pollinator beds, and then in the fall we planted a good bit of perennials that are still. We try to focus on plants that are native to the area and also good that do well with wet feet, because this area tends to get a lot of the water drainage, and they're all also beneficial for our pollinators. So a lot of the plants planted are perennials, and then we're going to fill in with some more annuals like last year as well.
Great. So we'll have those beautiful farm bouquets that you guys offered at the farm stand last year, this year again?
That is the hope.
That's awesome. And speaking of color and beautiful, I just can't get over this incredible cabbage, and the purple cabbage and the Swiss chard, the red on that is just so intense. Mother Nature is so beautiful.
Yeah.
What else is growing in these beds?
These first 2 beds have broccoli in them. So our broccoli started bolting a little bit earlier than we hoped for. We are going to get some broccoli, but not a huge crop, and some of the heads are going to be smaller than usual. But I've been snacking on it, and it still tastes delicious.
Well, and these tops that flower out, this is called broccoli rabe.
Yep.
And so it's another way to eat the broccoli plant that, I think sort of came into fashion a little more with the mainstream in the last 10 years or so. But
yeah,
I love broccoli rabe, and it's some of the best here at Woodside. It really is. My whole family just loves it.
Yeah, it's very tasty, and we have been having it at markets. We'll continue to have it at market too.
So tell us a little bit about the markets.
We do markets every Wednesday and Saturday. So Wednesdays we're here from 4 to 7, and Saturdays we're here from 8 to 12. It's a place where if you're a CSA member, you can come and pick up your share, or if you're just someone in the community, Chickahominy Falls, or the community at large, you're welcome to come by and grab whatever produce you're interested in.
Great. So before I'm going to ask another question about that, but before we run off, I wanted to share this because I think this is so great. We're standing here where you have some tomatoes planted, and then underneath you have some other crops planted underneath. I can identify basil, and I'm not sure what's here on this side. So if you don't mind sharing, why you cluster the plantings like that, and kind of how that works out.
Sure. So in this bed, this is actually celery growing. The second bed, we have some good Italian basil, and then the third bed, part of it is salad and the other part is parsley. We're doing it just to make use of all the bed space.
Okay.
It helps, we're trying to do really intense plantings to get most out of the bed, and it also helps with weed control. We chose these plants in particular because as the tomatoes get larger, it'll provide good shade for the basil and the salad and celery, some of those plants that don't love having hot, scalding sun on them.
Right. Oh, that's
all
fantastic.
Summer. And they also sort of work together a lot of times too with bringing in, beneficial insects to the tomatoes and things like that.
Cool. Well, as we head up here to the grow house, we're going to go right by the irrigation, and I saw some of that. All of the beds are irrigated, and I saw some dripping going on down by the corn. Tell us a little bit about how the irrigation system works, and is that like a manual operation that you guys can adjust daily or as needed? I mean, we've had quite a bit of rain here in Richmond.
Yeah, right now we have it all set up manually. Each of the bibs and valves correspond to blocks of 5. We are on all drip irrigation here, and drip irrigation is really helpful because it can provide water to the plants without soaking all of the leaves, which sometimes causes,
Rot.
fungal problems or rot or burn in the summer. So yeah, we sort of run beds when needed, depending on if it had rained a lot before or depending on the crop as well.
Cool. So going into the grow house here, I see our awesome new tables that everybody, all the volunteers created
they've been really
lately,
helpful.
which has been great. Some of the volunteers have created all the tables that are all the plantings and seedlings are on right now. So tell us a little bit about what you have growing and starting in here.
Sure. It's definitely the part of the season where we're just trying to get as much out as we can, and we're planting a lot, which is awesome. We still have in here some of our later successions of cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, winter squash, and some melons. We're growing melons this year. These are more scallions, so we have different rotations of scallions planted in hopes that that will be sort of a staple we have available throughout the season. Right here's another, those are just popping, but those are baby arugula plants.
The best arugula in all of the East Coast here, right here at Woodside Farms. I'm a big arugula fan, and it is delicious. All of your produce, but especially your salad mixes are incredible.
Hey, we're glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah. So as we head out, we're going to head over towards the Pick Your Own. They're mowing over here. I don't think that we'll be interfered with the noise, but we'll just go quickly over here. So the farm is all connected by the big red barn. You can see here we have our sales tent out, and the community surrounds the farm here and is really an integral part of the community, of the farm. So on Fridays you have volunteer day, and volunteers can come from anywhere, but we have a really large number of volunteers that come that are residents of Chickahominy Falls, right?
Right.
And that's been super helpful with a lot of your manpower and getting things done or getting plantings done or big projects.
Very much so.
So that's been great. So tell us a little bit about what this area is here. And let's walk this through here, Caroline, just going over to the other green by the windmill.
These beds are our pick your own area. So one of the perks of being a CSA member is access to the pick your own. We're sort of gonna send out shortly some, parameters and instruction, because I feel like folks have been asking a lot about the pick your own. But we have sort of a mixture of flowers, herbs. The strawberries are here. We probably won't get a solid crop till next year, but they are here getting strong and ready. There's also tomatillas, cherry tomatoes, and if you guys know what cucamelons are, or Mexican sour gherkins, those are planted here as well.
Nice.
So
and along the fence line here, it looks nice and robust. What's growing over there?
That is a mixture of borage, calendula, dahlias, nasturtium, and some other flowers like dianthus and salvia. The calendula and borage flowers are edible, so it's kind of fun.
Very cool. Well, this has been so special for you to be with us this afternoon and share with everybody how awesome it is to be here at Woodside Farms, and what a beautiful farm it is, and how incredible you and your team here have made it. and what a nice amenity it is for the community and the houses that are going up right behind us. So really appreciate you joining us and everybody else joining us. Sorry we couldn't be live, but we'll get back to it next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.